Howdy everybody, Jonathan here, and in this video I'm going to address a topic that I get a lot of questions on, and that is, hey, I just got certified, now what do I do? Or hey, I just got a job interview at a gym, now what do I do? So let's just jump right into it. Alright, now the number one thing that you're going to want to do if you're just getting certified for the first time is get experience. I know a lot of you have long-term goals of owning a gym or owning your own boot camp, and that's a great goal. All right, I think everybody in the fitness industry, especially in the U.S. where fitness is unregulated, should have that goal eventually. But to take on the responsibility of the marketing, the sales, the training, and the management, especially if you're new and green when it comes to the training, there's going to be a lot on your plate. So you'd be much better off, in my personal opinion, getting a lot of experience and making sure the training kind of goes on autopilot in your mind. You can only do that with the covering of somebody that knows more than you, a head trainer, and the covering of the insurance policy of the gym. It just helps to know that you have access to all this equipment. You don't have to buy all this stuff. You have access to tons of advice, hopefully, from your head trainer. And you can deal with a lot of different clients while the head trainer and the gym essentially have your back. And they don't have your back in a lot of ways. You have to understand that to a gym, you are a profit center. All right, so it really boggles my mind when people are nervous about their interview for a personal training job, because from what I've seen, at least big box gyms, they want as many trainers as they can get. They work off of volume. They have thousands of clients. They want to service as many of them with personal training as possible. You don't cost them much money to employ because they generally don't pay floor hours. So they want as many trainers as possible. What they don't want is a problem on their hands. So first, before I go into interviewing and things that you want to go over in the interview, you have to decide what kind of gym you want to work for. Do you want to work for a gym where you have to put in a lot of front-end work and you can make more money? And when I say front-end work, I just mean sales. Or do you want to work for a gym where you do less front-end work and you make less money? So, if we're talking about a Globo gym like LA Fitness or something like that, that's where you put in less front-end work and you make less money. So, you don't necessarily have to walk the floor as much as you would with a privately owned big box gym. You essentially have hours that you set and you have to be at the gym for those hours. The gym will then fill your book up with clients or make their best effort to based on the sales of the sales department, and you'll be paid a nominal amount. Now, in general, in situations such as this with a big box, largely owned or publicly owned gym, you'll find that you make less per hour. So I think at LA Fitness is something like $6 for every half hour, $12 for every hour, and no commissions on the sales because that goes to the sales staff. Now, the benefit to you is that you don't have to sell, and essentially, they just give you clients. But the drawback to that is they can put anybody in your book at any time. So you may have a day where you have a client put into your book at 6 a.m., there's nothing going on until 10, and you have another client put in at 10. So they'll spread your clients out however they see fit. You really don't have much control over your schedule. You just have to be there. And the downtime you just have to deal with. Now, the flip side to that is the privately owned big box gym. And that probably doesn't have a national chain, or it maybe only has 1 or 2 locations max. In such an instance, you are usually given a list of people who you are to call because they recently joined the gym or they express some interest in training. And then it is your job to take them through the sales process, including the comps and the packages, and then having them sign the contracts. In an instance like that, you're more likely to make a little bit more money, somewhere between $25 and $45 a session. Usually there's a little bit more stress on you with a quota that you have to reach on a monthly basis, that you have to report. But if you're looking to eventually own your own business, this is the kind of lifestyle that you're going to live. I have a quota, it's just that I set my own quota. I own my own business. I want to make a certain amount of money per month, so I understand that I have to do this amount of work to get the clients in or to keep the clients. My client retention has to be high. So if you're brand new, brand spanking new to training, and all you care about is just getting reps and getting repetitions, then it may not be a bad idea to start off with a large chain big box gym. But as you progress, you want to challenge yourself more and perhaps put yourself in a situation where you have to do a little bit more selling. All right, you'll make more money. All right, you'll have more control over your lifestyle. You'll be given more opportunities to implement your own ideas. Whereas in a gym like, for instance, LA Fitness, a lot of the marketing ideas come from up top, corporate. So you're really just at the mercy of whatever corporate decides is best for the company. Whereas in a privately owned small chain big box gym, you'll have, more freedom to suggest ideas and actually implement them. One of the best experiences I ever had was telling my head trainer over at a privately owned powerhouse gym that I worked in was that I wanted to put together programs. I put together a bench press contest, I put together a weight loss contest, and he essentially says, if you can put this together, it's all yours. All right, and I was able to negotiate a situation where I got a chunk of the overall revenue from the programs, even outside of the training that I was doing. So, as you move on and as you grow in your career, I would definitely suggest that you challenge yourself, because the responsibilities that come with owning your own business are only going to multiply. It's not just that you show up. You are now responsible for your equipment, you're responsible for your marketing, you're responsible for the training, you're required for the sales and all that stuff, okay? Now, when it comes to actual interviewing, I'm not sure why trainers freak out so much. The gyms don't want that much. The number one thing that I would say is, don't go so crazy when it comes to your resume, all right? They don't really read it. I don't really read resumes. I look at a couple of things on people's resumes when I decide if I want to hire a trainer. But the first thing I want to know is, are you certified? How many years of experience do you have? And is there anything that would lead me to believe that you'd be a good hire? All right. If I'm looking at your resume, so this one guy I knew was a Marine. I just assumed he had more responsibility than the average person, so that stuck out. But other than that, I have this burning desire to be a trainer. Blah blah blah. I don't care about that, and your head trainer won't either. That's going to come through when they meet with you one-on-one. So the last thing that you want to do is you don't want to just walk in and then dump your resume on whomever you feel is maybe working at the gym, because it will get lost in a lot of paper. There are a lot of contracts, there's a lot of headache that goes on in the gym, and gyms don't want to sit down. They don't have an HR department that just looks through your resumes. Essentially, they just kind of look through it whenever they want. So your best bet is to physically get in front of somebody, whether it be a GM, whether it be the head trainer, or one of the personal trainers. At the very least, you want to call and actually have contact. Because if you take a passive approach and just drop resumes off, it's going to be very hard for you to stand out. All right. So when you actually do get the interview, what do you want to be communicating in your interview? All right. The number one thing is that you're going to have to pass the eyeball test. So you want to generally look the part. Be clean shaven, all that stuff, and you generally want to be in good shape or have a really good reason why you're not in as great shape as the average person, because let's face it, this is an industry where you have to look the part, and clients will judge you the same way. So your head trainer is going to judge you the same way the clients will judge you. So if you don't look like a trainer, they may be a little bit more reluctant, all right? Now, there is something that you can do to overcome you not being able to pass the eyeball test, and that is energy and knowledge, all right? I always say it. I have a buddy, and he's smiling all the time in the gym. He always has great energy about him, and he's infectious, all right? And people gravitate toward that. The head trainer will like that. To be excited about what you do, and to be, just excited to get out on the floor and be a part of their company is going to go a long way for them and for you as an employee. The next thing that you want to do, and I'm not a very smiley type of guy. I don't run around all enthusiastic. I'm pretty even keel in general. Where I do shine is my knowledge. All right. So if you want to have some kind of idea of how you approach fitness, all right, they want to know that you can at the very least articulate thoughts and ideas on basic fitness to understand or to explain this to the client. So, you want to go over, how you like to train, your philosophies, what you found works, what you found does not work. And you know what, if you're looking for something, if you have my online course, all right, if you go to my website, jonathanfibro.com, and you go to my course on Udemy, all right, it teaches you how to teach small groups and boot camps, but also teach you how to do personal training. And it also has a section on the logic behind training in general. You can essentially say that verbatim, as it'll talk about, fat loss and muscle gain and what people want and why you structure workouts the way that you do. You can say that verbatim and, you'll be fine. All right, but you essentially want to have something that you feel on fitness that you can articulate, and you want to articulate it well. All right. The next thing they're going to look for is availability. All right, they want to know that you can train during their peak hours. Gyms want you to be there for, every gym wants every trainer to be full-time, but they definitely want you there between like 4 and 8 in the evening, or between like 5 and 9 in the morning, because that's when they generally have the most people, and gyms are operating off of volume. So you want to show them that you have availability, and if you do that, it's going to be very hard for them to not want you, all right? Because again, you can only make them more money, and it's worth the risk as long as you don't seem like some kind of, a crazy trainer that will hurt their clients. They'll generally give you a shot, and if you don't, it's probably because of availability. If not, you probably seem flighty, and if not, you probably fail the eyeball test. So keep those three things in mind. Now, let's assume that you are going to get the job, because I really believe that you will, especially if you have a certification that's nationally accredited and you come off with a good attitude. They'll give you a shot. Now, how do you become successful, especially if you're in this LA Fitness type of gym? How do you get ahead of other trainers? The number one thing, and listen, right or wrong, this is how it is. You should look to be like 80% like your head trainer. All right, I found that in school and in college, teachers really just want you to spit back the information that you give to them. It's the same in the workplace. Managers just really want you to be a reflection of them, because that's how they think, and they believe that they're right. They're not crazy. So you should try to be 80% of your head trainer and understand what their philosophies are. And number one, they'll be more likely to give you a client that they're training or that they've sold, because they feel, okay, this trainer can deliver the promises that I've made because they do what I do. All right, now, you save that extra 20% for yourself. You develop your own flair. You develop your own style while you're in that gym. But for the most part, suck as much information from the head trainer as possible. Ask a lot of questions. Try to be like them. Take from them what works and keep it, all right? And then once you leave, whatever doesn't work, dump it. And then the things that you've learned while you were at that gym, start to let that flourish, start to let that grow. And then when you go on your next interview, you talk about how you learned and how you developed your own style. And then when you meet that next head trainer, become a reflection of them, 80%, all right? You never want to be a carbon copy of anybody. You are yourself and you are unique. But you want to save that extra 20% for when you have your own business, so that you can be successful. All right? And that's how you become successful in the gym. If you want to take things a step further into how to sell and such, watch my How to Sell Personal Training video part 1. It'll talk about how to get more exposure in your gym, things that you can do to get around so that you can politic your way around the gym and get people to like you, know you, and trust you, so they can hand you clients, sell you clients, or refer you clients. From here, you go to the How to Sell Personal Training video. But I wanted to shed some light on where you go after you get your personal training certification, so I think it'll be helpful for you. Alright, that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, number one things that you can do, share this video. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Google+, and share it on YouTube. Share wherever you can to help me get the word out about how to become a better trainer. If you just happen to stumble upon this video, subscribe to this channel, as this channel is dedicated toward helping trainers become better trainers. And as always, ask a bunch of questions. Add me as a friend on Facebook. All of my links are in the description box below. Follow me on Twitter. If you have a question, private message me on Facebook, direct message me on Twitter, because a lot of this content is really just answers to questions that I get a lot on these social media networks. I just give it back to you in an organized form with all my experience behind it. So make use of those. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Twitter, do the sharing thing, and I will do my best to add videos at least twice a week, every Wednesday and every Sunday. So, remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe. Stress levels don't get rest, don't slap anybody. Love your clients, they will love you back. I will see you all tomorrow or the next day. And don't worry, that was my chair. And you have a good one.